Hey everybody! Welcome to episode 2 of our Aegon campaign, Trials of Tartarus. I am Diana. I am your goddess of strife tonight, your strife maker, if you will. I hate the term strife player. I think it's boring, so I made up my own. With me, I have Mason Dula, B. Dave Walters, Tanya DePass, and Justice Hughes. Thank you guys all for coming by and for hanging out with us. We are still learning this system, so it may be a bumpy ride tonight, but it should be a fun one. Before we get going, I'll let my players kind of introduce themselves. Mason, who are you and what do you do?
Hey guys, I'm Mason Dula. You can usually find me DMing and occasionally playing over on our channel, WizardX TV, and then occasionally, I guess the subs aren't around because people call me in for stuff like this, and then I'm here.
B. Dave?
I was busy saying hello to everyone in chat. So hi, hello everyone in chat. B. Dave Walters, I say words about things 7 days a week. I'm somewhere playing D&D or Vampire or running D&D or Vampire, crowdfunding a documentary right now. The tweet is pinned at the top of my profile at B. Dave Walters, but I'm here to do some heroism. As I was just saying, this vaguely African Spartan helmet image behind me speaks to my soul on a level that is inexpressible, so I'm really looking forward to this now.
We actually didn't even ask B. Dave to play. He just sort of showed up with this helmet behind him, and he was like, "Oh, I'm in now. This is me. This is what I'm doing."
I was summoned by it.
Yeah,
It's like they put like this picture in a can of Monster, like in like a pentagram. In a camera. This picture, a can of Monster in a camera,
and B. Dave solidified. Fair enough.
Yeah. And you have to say his name 3 times in a row.
It's true. It works. There it is. That's how you get me literally anywhere, apparently.
All right. Well, good to know. I'll make notes over here. Tanya.
Hi, I'm Tanya. I play Katia here, and earlier on Sundays I played Sleaze Historio and Rivals Waterdeep. And in a couple weeks we're resuming our Dragon Age games, so that's what I do when I'm not yelling about inclusivity and other things on the internet. Yeah. And it's going to be interesting to see how much we all remember after a couple weeks off.
You know what? We'll see how this goes. Like I said, we may all perish in flame. Justice.
I am Justice. I'm half the team at Bard and Barbarian, and tonight I play Pamphlios with the Honey Tongue. You can find me around Saturday mornings here on Bard and Barbarian doing some one-on-one shot D&D storybook time, and a couple other places throughout the week.
Cool. Well, thank you guys for joining us. A couple little housekeeping things. B. Dave mentioned a project that he's working on right now. You'll see a link pop up for that over in chat every once in a while. Make sure you head over and check it out. I won't give all the details here, especially since I can't speak to the eloquency that B. Dave can. But it's a wonderful project with great roots and a lot of potential, and I encourage you all to check it out. I am Diana. I'm running this campaign. I play in some of Justice's D&D one-shots. I'm also on a couple streams throughout the week, including returning this week, one run by one B. Dave Walters, where I'll be a werewolf this time instead of a vampire, but he puts us through all kinds of trials and tribulations and lots of fun stuff. So, without further ado, we are going to return to the island of Namphos. Now, previously on Namphos, Katia, after taking over the command of the vessel you all were on, you washed up on shore after sort of a rough engagement in the waters just off the island where you narrowly avoided some death by rocks. You discovered that this island had some problems. There was a lot of strife, if you will. You found yourselves in a village that had barely been inhabited, and the people that were there were ill. 2 young gentlemen, who were apparently housed in the palace of the town, came and found you all on the beach and took you to speak to the royalty. The queen was not ill herself, however, she was tied to the bedside of her ill son. You learned that there was something going on up at the altar of Apollo. The waters of the island had been diseased since that creature took up residence, and there was only one survivor from any encounter with this beast. His name was Imbrius, and he lived alone in the woods. It took you all a little bit of time to go and seek him out, But when you did find him, you found a scared, blinded man who told you of a fearsome beast with the roar of a lion. That Hero, it sounded familiar to you. And with a dawning realization, Katia, Hero, and Pamphilos, you found that there was going to be a chimera somewhere on this mountainside that you all were on, and that it was disturbing the peace at the altar of Apollo, and Apollo, having seen that as an insult, had taken it upon himself to curse the waters of the island of Namphos, poisoning the town and making everyone sick. After sort of resigning yourselves to these facts, you returned along the cobblestone path back down to the sandy beaches where you first came ashore, and where you met the two young boys. The thick fog that had been there in the morning had just started to clear out when you all left, and now returning to the beach, it's returned. It's dusk, the sun is getting lower in the sky, falling below the horizon line, and you notice, washed up, about 200 feet from where your ship resides on shore, there's a man face down in the sand.
Look, there's a man face down in the sand.
Really? I couldn't have told you that.
I guess
have a
we
keen
should
eye.
see him back out to sea, seeing as Poseidon, well, I mean, is he looks dead. Let's just assume he's dead. We'll just go ahead and throw him back in. And
We should probably check. If Poseidon washed him up on the shores, then it means that he was not a worthy sacrifice, or he's meant for greatness.
Would you like it if someone just threw you back in the ocean?
Well, I mean, if
He would
I was
expect
dead,
nothing less.
yeah, I would hope so.
All right, let's go see who this person is.
Taking a few strides towards this individual, you see a strong man, obviously a warrior, arms sprawled out at his sides. Clearly not a local. Everyone on Namphos was ill and feeble, and they could barely breathe or walk for themselves. This man had obviously been well taken care of until you so astutely pointed out Poseidon chucked him onto the shore.
I'm gonna poke him with my boot. Hey, you alive down there? You're muted, B.
We can't hear you, BD.
But now he's gonna unmute himself. That's gonna be great.
Can't wait.
If he can just find
So
that button.
excited.
I was being dramatic.
Okay.
Who are you people? Where am I?
Well, I'm Hero. As to where you are, that's a great question. I believe the children said Namphos, but well, we just got here ourselves, and welcome to the party, son. How you doing?
What's your name, hero? I've known many heroes, but what are you called?
My name is Hero. It's nice to meet you. I didn't catch your name.
Memnon.
Memnon. Well, that's just great. Are you? I mean, I noticed you are a strong-looking individual. Have you seen much combat?
Strife mistress,
Yes,
goddess, dominatrix, whatever the proper title is there.
All of them, yeah.
Is there any role that I can make to I want to look at their clothing to see if they are dressed like they come from a place that I would know as friend or foe?
Yeah, so I'm actually going to have everybody make me a roll. Let's say craft and reason. So B Dave, you're gonna roll a D6 for your epithet, a D6 for your name, and a D6 for craft and reason. And then you're going to take the two highest dice from that and add them together for me. And the number that you guys are going to try and beat, it's going to be nice and low. It's a 10.
Are we all rolling 3 dice?
Yes.
Or just...
10 is what I got.
Sweet.
7. I got 10 exactly.
Okay.
No, that's 9. You say easy, but
You
that
said
requires
nice
2
and low. Yeah, I
fives.
was about to say, like, that's like 10 when 12 is the maximum. Yeah.
Look, I have high hopes for you all. I
Well,
expect
I'm
you to
gonna
roll
be-
better than I do.
I'm a constant disappointment. This is
I mean, fair.
yeah, 9 for me. 9 for me.
I too rolled a 9.
Okay. We're gonna approach this a little bit differently since it's technically 2 separate contests. So, Hero and Pamphilos, you're looking at Memnon, and there's something familiar about him. Gosh, he's not wearing the same uniform as you are, but you feel like you saw him really recently.
Pamphilos, did you know a Memnon?
I can't say that I have, but something's triggering a story or something that I heard. Maybe a fireside song.
Memnon.
Mm.
You're looking at these 3, and yeah, you've seen him recently. You weren't real thrilled about it, though. Katia, you sort of watch a look of irritation almost wash over Memnon's face as he sort of comes to terms with who he's speaking to. You know Memnon.
Oh.
Memnon is the delegate that was assigned to the survivors of Treya to represent them in the democracy back in Greece.
Oh boy.
So he was headed back there to help his people in terms of rebuilding their city and their civilization. Not willingly, mind you. You all faced him on the battlefield not too long ago.
Oh. Okay.
Here on the beach, like, is my sword still in the sheath and my bow on my back?
Yep.
I just start to slowly stand, especially if I see, like, they're talking or do they know me? And I feel like she and I sort of have a moment where I just stand up slowly and I just say, I do not wish to slay you on this beach, but be advised, I will not be taken prisoner. And I just sort of like put a hand on my sword.
You can see it just holds a hand up. She's like, easy, easy. We don't even quite know where we are. And she gives him like the head nod of like, I got you. We're good. We're 2 warriors. So, and also you just washed up out of the water. We have honor. We're not going to pick a fight with you right now.
Can you please clue me in? It's right on the tip of my tongue. I can't quite place the face and the name.
So I give them what I know, that he's delegate, and it's like, take a good look at him. We faced each other before on the battlefield.
That's right.
You. And I point at Katia. I'm like, you are known to me. Your deeds were glorious. And you, how could I forget a face such as this? You, hero. Again, I knew many heroes, but your face and name are not known to me. Who is your father?
I admit that your face is unknown to me as well, so if you saw us on the battlefield, I have to imagine you lost then, right? I mean, I would remember a winner if I were to have escaped.
Hero, please, friend, Memnon friend. Hero you'll get used to his boastings. Not without merit, mind you. But he is maybe a little more leaning towards Hera, if you know my meaning there.
A scoundrel.
Memnon, you realize that you woke up on this shore surrounded by enemies, and you have no memory of getting here. The last thing you remember is stepping onto the deck of your ship that morning, and then nothing.
Athena saw fit to deliver me. Perhaps she requested her uncle Poseidon carry me hence. This is apparently where I'm required to be. You all seem to be lost in the company of a great warrior, a great speaker, and a scoundrel.
Well, I've been called many things. I apologize if I offended your person. But my name is Hero. I'm a scion of Hermes. Nimble-handed, they call me. And everyone remembers. So, I can only assume that we haven't met before.
Well, I maintain perhaps you should think of another name. There are many true heroes. And I extend a hand to Pamphlos, and I'm like, Memnon.
Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
It's at this point...
In a closer environ.
It's at this point that Diomedes, the crew member who... Hero, you actually... Was it Hero or Katia? One of you saved him that morning.
Oh, the people from falling off?
Yeah.
Yes, that was me.
I thought that was you. Okay. So Diomedes, the gentleman that you saved from a terrible death on the rocks, is sort of... You see him peeking over at you guys from the deck of the ship, and then he kind of... is everything okay?
Oh, yeah, we have a new friend.
Yeah, he's a big fella.
Oh, yeah, he's, I'm gonna, we'll see how this goes for me, but I'm just gonna, like, attempt to slap him on the shoulder while keeping my eyes on Diomedes. Yeah, he's not so scary once you get to know him.
Yes, I suppose not. I prefer to think first and strike second. My father used to tell me something like measure twice, cut once type thing.
I see. Well, sounds like a very wise man. Diomedes, how are things on the ship? Is all well? Did you manage to patch up any damage, or?
Yeah, we repaired the holes that. Why don't you come over here? Come on, it's getting cold. We got a campfire going. Some fish. Do you like fish? Fish are good. We got some fish.
I'm gonna head over, I guess.
I lean over towards Katia when they start walking away. I'm like, you have no idea where we are.
No, we ran afoul of bad weather or Poseidon's displeasure, and after we barely kept ourselves from sinking, we found this island that shouldn't actually be here.
Wizardry.
Indeed. We were coming back to the ship to resupply. Have you fought a Chimera before?
Storyteller. Strife mistress. Strife mistress. Have I? Or fought anything of the such?
You've fought a lot of fearsome beasts in your time. However, you always thought the Chimera was sort of a myth. Like that Minotaur guy. Like, it was just something that people made up, right? Just a monster of your imagination. They're not real.
Chimera. 3 heads.
Yes.
I just reach behind me and I just pull 3 arrows out of the quiver. I'm like, point me towards it.
Well, once we get everything we need off the ship and resupply, and I will be happy to have your bow with us.
Miss Katia, did you say Chimera?
Yes.
Diomedes is like visibly shaking.
I'm not bringing it to the ship. We're gonna go in the mountains and fight it. You're fine here.
But if you all perish, then who's gonna lead the crew?
You.
No, not me. I don't.
Promotion.
Okay, well.
We're not gonna perish. It'll be fine. I mean, there's 4 mighty heroes here. I'm a demigod. What can happen?
You as well.
Yes.
That is why I remembered you. I get like the full warrior grip.
You're Memnon? The Memnon?
And when he says that, I just motion at him and look at Hero. Yes, the Memnon.
Oh my gosh. I am such a big fan. We used to read your battle strategies every night in our tent before we'd go to sleep. Hold on, I'm gonna go get a scroll for you to sign. Don't go anywhere. Just stay right there, okay?
Yes, of course. I'm quite accustomed to this response.
And Hero, Diomedes
I'm
actually sort of elbows you out of the way, rushing past you to go get something for Memnon to sign.
I like to imagine I now choke on a fish bone as he.
Oh, breathe, friend, breathe.
Not Hero, I shall tell the story of the bow and the arrow and how you slayed that water nymph in the well just hours ago. I'll strum up a song.
I don't even know if it's necessary. I'm sure it will reach all the ears of the island by tomorrow.
You get the distinct feeling that that's actually not the case.
Me or him, because I absolutely believe that's the case.
Everyone except for you, Hero. Everyone else is like, yeah, you shot that water real well. The four of you are sitting around this campfire, and Diomedes does return and sort of ask you a billion questions, just sort of rapid fire right out of the gate, Memnon, and eventually one of his friends comes and sort of pulls him away so he'll stop making a fool of himself. And the four of you are left at this campfire to talk about the day's events.
I just will say, Memnon answers all of his questions, but he really does answer them honestly. Like, he's not particularly boastful about it. Like, I mean, if he fought 10 dudes, he says he fought 10 dudes. Like, he's not like, there were 20 of them. Like, no, he's very patient with the guy's questions until somebody else takes him away.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
You're kind to your fans. That's super sweet. Super sweet. So the four of you are sitting around the campfire, now faced with a chimera. Something that Hero, until this morning, was probably the only one who thought it was real, because he's faced one before.
Out of character, I thought Katia had faced one as well.
I think, Katia, you had a different beast. You
Yes.
had a gorgon on your
Yes, you're
sheet,
correct.
as
I'm
I
sorry.
recall. No, you're
What?
fine.
Ignore me.
We'll face one of those too. Don't you worry. It'll be fine.
It's like, so I'm just gonna wade back out into the water. I'm like, whoops, come heading back to Poseidon. Yeah, there we go.
This was nice. See you
Yeah,
later.
all right,
Bye.
I'm gonna head out. Yeah, right.
Well, Katia is going to kind of regale him with what's happened and all that we've learned, and noticing how Hero firmly believed his story about the water nymph, I kind of give him a little boost in my storytelling of this to raise his esteem to Memnon, but I also kind of like give Memnon the demigod dap. So it's
Okay.
like, I got you. We're here.
Katia, do me a favor. Give me an arts and oration contest roll.
How many d6 is that?
That is, what is your specialty domain? It's blood and valor, right?
Yes.
Okay, so roll 3d6s and give me the highest two together. You're only trying to beat a 6.
Okay.
I
didn't beat it. I got
Panthalos.
a. Wait, no, I take that back. 3 and 2 is a 5, so I did beat it. I can't math.
Panthalos, you were saying something.
The epithet, doesn't that only come into play if it's relevant to the current scenario?
If
So
it
you would only
applies,
roll
yes.
Name
If it
and-
applies. But if she's telling stories about the epic battle that you all faced earlier today, then her warrior epitaph is going to apply there.
That was more for myself because we rolled earlier. I rolled all three of them.
Yeah, in
and that
theory,
was-
it's supposed to be whether it applies or not, but you guys choose whether it applies or not. I have no ruling over there. So if you can make a case
It
for it,
always
you get to
applies
roll
then,
that dice.
right?
Yeah, basically. Scout's honor, that kind of thing. Sure. So let's say, Katia, you're regaling this. Well, you're really only telling Memnon because Pamphilus was there, but you're regaling Memnon with the story of how you all came to the town and you met royalty right away and discovered the ails that were tormenting the poor villagers here, and they pleaded with you and begged to get your help in all of this. And in this storytelling, you make Hero out to be just that. He is the hero of Namphos, as far as you're concerned. And Katia, you now have an additional bond with Hero that you can spend when you need.
Hey.
The hero of Namphos. I'm Memnon. They call me Memnon the Bronze-Armed. Are you Hero the Nymph Slayer?
Well, I think it's a little early for... Yes, I am. As well as the Slayer of the Chimera of Apollonia. So, it's just here or there. There's titles. I've just got so many. They kind of... You understand, a man of your stature, right?
I will not forget this. Thank you for regaling me with the story of his heroic deeds, Katia.
You're welcome. I would love to hear stories of your own once you have slain this creature.
Yes, we will feast and celebrate once it has been defeated.
Well, it has been a long journey, Memnon. Why don't the rest of you stay? I can handle this myself. It's absolutely fine if you all just relax here. Chimeras are kind of my thing. I've handled it before. It's really no problem. We'll be fixing this island and on our way in no time.
Poseidon did not deliver me from the ocean to stay at camp.
Well, do you know something about ships? Maybe we needed a new captain because ours kind of died and...
Excuse me?
Well, he did, and don't get me wrong, you have done significantly better than any of the rest of us would have in his absence, but I don't really know much about ships myself. So perhaps Memnon is a captain. I don't know.
If you have a capable officer here, I have no problem serving under her stead. No, friend, my skills lay elsewhere. And I do just sort of pat the quiver again.
Well, I'm open to whatever, but like I said, you all feel free to relax here. I'm just going to get some stretching in before I go slay the Chimera and get us on our way.
Hero, might we hear the tale of the Chimera of Apollonia? I would love to add it to my repertoire.
If you would like.
And there might be a nugget of information that could come in handy for the folks in the village.
Absolutely. So, Strife Mistress.
Yes, dear.
How much do you care how much detail I put into this? Like, I don't know what details you have for chimeras and how much we're sticking to Greek mythology, and
well, as long
there's
as
a lot
you
of
get
Apollonias.
The monster right, I'm cool with it. If you start describing like a giant cow, then this won't work.
Well, chimeras could have had a cow head. I mean, this one didn't. It was just all lion. It was just a bunch of lion heads. But no. Well, I tell you what, Pamphilos, it was not an easy fight, but it is one from which I gained much experience. You see, the tail is what you really have to watch out for, because as you focus on the heads, the tail will strike out at you. So that is one nugget of wisdom I will give you all before before I have to face one again. If you ever have to handle it yourself.
And how is this tail so dangerous?
Well, when you find yourself in a rather confined space, much like the cave we're heading to now, Chimera's already a lion, fearsome beast, yes? Now just imagine if it had more heads, was larger, stronger, and also had a tail with a bit of an attitude, and a bite to match.
I'm gonna remind you, Chimera only have one head.
Don't they have them on the bottom?
Yeah, they have a goat head, a lion head, and a dragon head, and some have a snake tail.
Yeah, depends on how you look at them. They come
My
out.
Chimera. My Chimera is essentially a fire-breathing dragon lion beast.
Oh, so it's a manticore.
Manticore. However,
Chimera the Manticore.
Yeah, Chimera the Manticore.
A Manticore known as Chimera. Ah, now we got the story right.
No, it's Chimera.
I'm now
Chimera.
beginning to be less...
With multiple heads. Congratulations,
True.
you passed my strife test.
Oh, good. Do I get a bond with the strife mystery?
No, you don't.
We're like, believe the story, become more skeptical, go back to believing the story.
Yeah, he's telling you all kinds of stuff, and frankly, he describes several different monsters altogether because he's just fought so much stuff, or believes he has at the very least. So he eventually kind of lands on this multi-headed goat lion thing that doesn't sound familiar, but boy does it sound terrifying.
And how does one slay this? Does it slay like any other beast, a sword to the heart or a arrow through the eye?
I'm gonna say yes, but I don't want to step on Diana's.
Yes. It's just a big scary monster. It's not invincible.
So Katia is like listening to this and wondering if Hero is just totally full of it at this point.
It does sound rather wild.
So she's like, you do know that we're not just going to let you run off and slay this whatever it is. If you've ever faced a Chimera before.
I understand there's a lot of glory to be had. I thought I would try, but you caught me. If you wish to come, that is absolutely fine. It will just make it that much easier of a challenge for us to overcome.
I'm not in this for glory. You should know that by now.
Yes.
It is getting later now. The sun has completely set, and you are only lit by the fire that you all are tending.
What do we know of these creatures with their multi-heads? Does it eat and prowl as a lion? Does it roam the mountains as a goat? Does it... I don't even know what a dragon does.
Hoards things, I've heard.
Perhaps if we approach it, does it think like a beast or does it think like a human?
Tell us, Hero, since you've slain one.
This is great questions.
Now I'm scared of stepping on Diana, so I'm...
Okay, so for out of character, out of context, a chimera in Greek mythology is a fire-breathing female monster with a lion's head, a goat's body, and a serpent's tail.
I don't want to... Okay, sure.
She has spoken.
Yes, we'll go with that. We'll go with that. I would again. I don't want to step on. So I would assume it's smarter than a normal beast, but it is still a beast, all things considered.
Hero, you remember?
Yeah.
From your battle with the Chimera. Now it's safe to say that there might be different types of Chimera, subspecies. Different regional versions of the Chimera. But the one that you faced was really just a huge... Mason? The one that you faced was really just giant.
Okay.
Where you would normally see a normal sized lion's head about yay big, this was 3 times larger. And it was vicious. And it had a lot of fortitude. So you get the sense that it's an enduring beast and that it's somewhat magical. It's not going to be as easy to slay as, a stag in the woods or something like that.
Gotcha.
But basically just big and mean.
Big and mean.
Mean.
That we can deal with. Right.
A monster.
So, again, I apologize. I am new to this system, but incredibly excited. Since I value resolve and spirit, and one of the things that Athena blesses her dedicated with is foresight. Is there anything in wisdom? Is there anything I can meditate on or gleam from Athena that might guide us in this matter of some insight into how to approach this thing?
If you wanted to take some time and speak to, because Athena is your patron goddess, correct?
Yes.
If you wanted to take some time and pray to Athena, you could absolutely do that.
I would, because I need to do two things. I need her help, and also a little check-in, make sure that I'm here to do some heroing and not as punishment. You know, like, hey, mom, we're good, right? No, we're good. Yeah. And then, yeah, so I would like to do that.
Okay.
I'll sort of, I'll come away from the fire, but go closer to the shore. I don't necessarily want my back turned to the dark forest. And sort of look at the moon wherever I can find it, and offer my prayers to Athena.
Okay. So you are at this point kneeling on the beach, sort of close to the ship-ish, maybe within 300 feet or so?
I would say far enough away that they can't hear me talk, but close enough that I could hear yelling, or they could hear me yelling.
Okay.
If it's like tentacle, you know.
If a kraken comes up and tries to kill everybody. Okay. So the way that this area of the beach is set up, it's actually a almost a cove with sort of a semicircular, very steep basalt rock base behind you, and then there's a pathway that leads off sort of towards town. So there isn't a dark forest, but you're kneeling in the sand and gazing up at the sky. And as you start saying your prayers to Athena, two things happen almost simultaneously, and you're asking her, "Why am I here? What purpose does me being here serve? And did I stray from my mission? Did I do something wrong?" The first thing that happens is, out of almost nowhere, a huge owl that it's so white it looks like it's made of moonlight soars overhead and makes 3 circles of the ship.
I shoot it down. No, I don't.
I shoot it in.
Makes 3 circles of the ship.
Mm-hmm.
And no one else notices it but you.
Mm-hmm.
And then the owl flies back over your head from whence it
Mm-hmm.
came. The other thing that happens at that moment is you're possessed to reach into the side pouch that you had that carries some of your personal effects. And you find that pouch empty, except for a single broken piece of pottery. Now, you're a warrior. There's no reason for you to be carrying that around.
Does it seem significant? Was it painted? Is there a part of a scene on it? Is there...
It's just plain pottery, but it's broken. And you know in your heart of hearts that your patron gave this to you. Athena put this in your hands. So it must mean something.
I tuck it back and actually head towards the ship, and I look to see if where the food stores, even like the wine stores, if any of them are pots that are like cracked or missing pieces.
So the only ship is the ship that your new friends are here on, and stepping aboard, you see that there's some things that are overturned and sort of mussed up, because you'd been told about the weather that everybody came across on the way onto shore this morning, but nothing appears broken here. Nothing fits this piece of pottery.
Well, for now, I'll just put it. I will kiss it and just sort of like whisper quietly, "Thank you," and put it back.
Okay. What are the rest of you doing with your evening?
Katia is wondering if Ares might be good to give an offering to, or even just to reach out and check in, since they're about to face a legendary creature.
Okay.
But there hasn't been any fighting or anything that would appease Ares. So she's not sure what would get his attention right now before they go into battle.
Ares is your patron, correct?
No, actually Ares' dad.
Oh, dad. Okay.
Hermes is my honored
Hermes
god.
Is your patron. That's correct.
So
She's
like, "Hey, Dad, what's up?"
Hey, Daddy. So even though there hasn't been any battle to speak of, you sort of find a quiet spot on the beach. Again, close enough so that you can hear if anything goes wrong, but not so close that everybody's going to be listening to your business. And you take out your sword and you just plant it in the sand in front of you. And you feel the presence of your dad.
So I bow my head and, touch the pommel of my sword. It's a miracle I haven't murdered any of these people yet, Ares.
My child, you know you could. You hear a voice out of nowhere.
Oh, I could. But I'd probably be suspect right now if I did. Once we're out to sea, though, all bets are off. They're just a bit much. But I came to seek your reassurance and your guidance as we're about to face a Chimera. And I've not yet encountered one. And I have a feeling our boastful friend really is not slain one as he claims.
And again, sort of almost out of nowhere, a voice riding on the wind. You are a fearsome warrior. You'll kill anything that stands in your path.
And true, you have taught me well. Is there anything you need me to do while I'm on this strange island or once we're back on our ship?
Silence.
All right. So she brushes her thumb against the sword to give a little bit of a blood tribute before she puts it back in the sheath and stands up and dusts herself off.
The blood sinks into the sand unnaturally fast.
And since she is a demigod, she heals rather quickly from that moment of sacrifice.
It's almost, the blood that came out of your finger was almost laced with gold, too.
Huh. Gotta love that celestial lineage.
Pamphilos, hero.
Yeah,
what are the two of you doing?
Under the guise of having to use the restroom, I'm going to leave some of my stuff there and also go into the woods to pray. But I don't want anybody to really know about it, so I'm going to kind of like take a look back as I step into the brush.
Katia is probably watching you like a hawk, but she doesn't care enough to follow you. Am I all right in that thinking, Katia?
It's like, she's like, whatever. He's probably going to ask for strength for the lies that he's told.
Okay.
As I kneel down, I'm going to beseech both Hermes and Hera. It's me again, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I am terrified for tomorrow. But if you could give me just a little bit of that cunning and a little bit of that speed, just one more time, that would be fantastic. I mean, the bravado is, I think it's working. I think it's keeping up all of the men's spirits, and I don't know, though some of the other heroes, I think, well, it's a miracle none of these people have tried to murder me yet. But, well, I do this for your glory, and, well, if you're listening to me right now, I would very much like a little assistance tomorrow. Thanks, Dad. Nice talking, Hera. And I'm going to stand up and walk back out of the woods.
Even though you stepped away from the campfire, at first you started to feel a little bit of a chill the further away you got from it, but the moment you started talking to Hera, a natural warmth started in your fingertips and just sort of warmed your hands a little bit.
Sounds good. I'm going to make my way back over to the fire, miming as if I've just pulled my pants back up.
Pamphilos, what would you like to do with your evening? You're muted, my dear.
Yes, there was a motorcycle, a strange beast ripping by the...
Another Chimera!
Yeah. Oh, God.
This one has wheels.
Yeah.
That one is an epic dire hog, is what that is, yeah.
Wow.
We call him Harley Davidson.
These three demigods are going about their, I don't know, a mortal might say they're going direct to their patronage, and I go to the crew, and I spend some time shaking hands and helping out with the chores around the camp and the ship, and then I gather all the men that aren't, all of the folks that aren't actively invested in something, and I do sing a song, and I tell them, I turned the adventures that we had the previous day into a, a minor little epic where we rescued the two young lads on the shore, and we vowed to the queen that we would save her son, and we searched the woods and found the blind seer who showed us the way, and all the while I'm giving praise on my lyre to Apollo, who is the patron god of this island, and telling him that we are on a quest to rid his temple of the taint of this beast, and ask him for his help and guidance in the adventures that follow the next day.
So you are entertaining the crew with this story,
with the intent that they might increase the praise
sure.
of the offering by expanding it out a little bit.
Make me an arts and oration contest roll. You're going to be trying to beat a 6.
Got an 8.
Okay. You succeed. The crew is elated with the story that you've told, and they're so excited that they are on a ship with such brave heroes. You can tell that Apollo is looking down on you with favor after serving him so well, and creating such beautiful music in his honor, and you get an additional bond with Apollo.
Ooh. That's a bond, not divine favor?
Divine favor, excuse me, because they're a god. They can't really bond with you. They don't care that much.
The three of us with god parents are like, don't know. Think they can bond pretty well.
That's different.
Yeah.
And with that, the night takes a cold turn, and it becomes very dark. You know that you won't be able to find your way through the woods at this point. You might as well bed down and relax for a minute.
Now that I'm getting back on the ship and sleeping in my own bunk.
Okay. Memnon, you are welcomed by the crew once they see that Katia, Pamphilos, and Hero are okay with you, and you haven't murdered them yet, so they're probably safe.
Well, it's still just the first day. Yeah.
You're welcomed among the crew, who they sort of sheepishly offer you a bunk. You get the sense that perhaps it was the bunk of the captain that they mentioned died recently, but it's free now, and you can use it if you want.
I'm sure it's nicer than the other accommodations I had. Sure, why not?
I sleep with the crew, actually.
Okay.
Wherever the common people are, I'll bed down with them.
Okay. Hero, Pamphilos, do you all choose to go back to the bunks that had previously been assigned to you, or are you looking to sleep on the dock and stare up at the stars? What would you like to do?
I was going to go for that ladder thing. Star watching.
Okay, star watching. I thought you meant sleeping on a ladder. I was like, that's damn uncomfortable.
Ladder with T's.
Okay, so you're sleeping on the deck?
I'll go back to my bunk.
Okay. Hero, Katia, and Pamphilos, you all fall asleep very quickly. It's been an exhausting day. Now, granted, you guys just fought a war, so you're used to exhausting days. But having to interact with children and a queen and a blind guy and just doing all of this peopling has really taken all of your spoons, and you all fall asleep almost instantly. Memnon, it takes you a little while to sort of get comfortable in a new group of people who, until today, were your enemies. And when you do fall asleep, you dream of broken pottery, of things breaking, of crashes, of distress and chaos, essentially.
Can I tell in this dream, is it like an earthquake or is something knocking the pottery? Is something breaking the pottery?
It's almost as if everything you reach for breaks.
I will meditate on the wisdom that the mother's trying to show me here. But do any of these broken pots seem like they're missing the piece that I've got?
No. They look similar. I mean, they're all broken. But none of them, it's not like a piece that fits into the puzzle or anything. No.
Basically, now, when I pray and meditate going forward, I basically will hold that piece of pottery in my hands.
Okay.
Like while I'm talking to Athena. So,
Okay.
yeah, okay. I don't share my dream with anyone, though.
Okay. The next morning, you all wake up again to sort of a mist covering the water, so you can't see anything beyond the ship's hull. And it's covering a lot of the beach still, but there are spots where the sunlight penetrates it and sort of allows you all a glimpse at the basalt cliff face and the forest beyond that, and more of the island of Namphos. While you all are sort of preparing for the day and donning your armor and sharpening your swords and perhaps eating some more fish for breakfast, because boy, there's a lot of that here, and sort of preparing for your day, the two young boys who you met yesterday, Boros and his Kosmas, his brother, reappear on shore. And Boros, just like yesterday, is super excited and really thrilled that you guys are here, and he just wants to ask you a billion questions about being heroes and being on a ship and all the cool things you've done. Kosmas is still sort of standoffish, but he hangs close to you, hero, and seems really skeptical of this new guy. Who's this guy? Where'd he come from? But Boros is just talking a mile a minute. And the two boys join you for whatever you're doing in the morning.
Me specifically, or us?
Us, all of you.
Okay, I was like, oh.
I mean, Kosmas is tied to your side. He will not leave you alone. But he also doesn't really say anything. He's still being really shy.
Noted.
Anything you all would like to do?
I'm curious about these kids, because why would they come back to the ship? Which one is the one not clinging to Hero?
Boros.
And he was the one that talked to us before, right?
Mm-hmm. He's the younger of the two, the chatty one.
Boros, do you remember us?
Yeah, you guys are super cool heroes.
So why did you come back out to the ship today?
Well, I figured it would be good to come and say hi, and Cosma said that you guys were probably going to run away and that you weren't going to try and help us, but I told him that that's not what heroes do, and so you guys wouldn't do that. You wouldn't just leave. But he didn't believe me, so we had to come and see. And also the palace is kind of boring. It's just sick people.
I understand that. Well, we're still here. You can see we didn't run away.
Yeah.
The gods even sent more assistance.
Whoa. Are you a warrior too?
I'm in a manner of speaking. Are you a prince?
Well, no, not quite. But I'm totally a warrior.
Really?
Yeah. I told everyone yesterday that I was gonna help when you guys went to battle today. Because I'm really helpful. I'm really, like, small and fast, and I can wield a sword real good.
We have hero for that, though. Show me your fighting stance, boy.
And he picks up a stick off the shore and goes into this very outlandish sort of pose.
A boy his age, his training should have begun already if it was going to. So it seemed like he seems untrained.
Yeah.
Very fearsome indeed. And I look over at Katia because I know she would know this also. And I'm all like, he seems ferocious, does he not?
That he does. That he does.
Yeah, so, like, you guys are totally gonna need my help when you go to fight that monster.
Maybe.
Look,
but...
I wore my armor, and he has, like, a burlap sack that he's essentially just sort of slung over his shoulders, that appears to have, like, little pieces of slate stuck to it in spots, like his mother had stitched them on to make it a harder surface.
I think we might have a very important task for you. The most important task. Pemphilos here is a legendary storyteller. We may need someone to help him keep track of all of this and make sure no one is following us when we go in to fight the beast. You will have the most important job to not enter the cave, but make sure that it stays open so that we are not trapped inside.
I like to imagine I'm walking by with like a pile of wood with the other one in tail behind me at this point. And I kind of like look at him and I'm like, listen to what he's saying. This is a very important job. As I kind of continue on walking past.
Make me an arts iteration roll. You're going to be trying to beat
I think
scribe
of Pemphilos. Okay, so what is it? Is that
it's going to be, what is your epithet? It's iron armed, right? Or something like that?
the bronze armed.
Yeah,
bronze armed. It's close though, yeah.
I don't necessarily think that
bronze
applies.
is like iron but better.
I leave that to you, so you can choose if that epithet applies and roll a d6 for that. You'll roll a d6 for your name dice. And we're going to go ahead, you're going to roll your d6 for arts iteration, but because you've been communicating with Athena, go ahead and roll a d4 and add it to whatever your 2 dice.
So I take the top 2 and keep the 4, right?
Yep.
I'm going to include my epitaph because I'm talking to him as a warrior. I'm not like, go home, you silly kid.
Okay.
You know? That would have been garbage, but Athena came through for me. It's I rolled a 4 on that die, so 10.
Okay. Tell me, you said you're just kind of trying to tell him, you need to stay behind, you need to watch it. That's the most important job.
It's okay if they come with us, but basically just don't enter the cave. Like, I mean, like the manticore will kill them. So it's like you can kind of hang out, but once we get there, stay outside.
Are you directing this just at Boros or at Cosmas as well?
If I can talk to them both, I will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Both boys hear you, and Cosmas just nods. He flat out agrees with you. He didn't want to go in that cave. Boros looks disappointed and kind of kicks some sand. Okay, if you really think that's the most important job.
A good soldier knows how to follow orders.
He's not going to be happy about it.
Katia gives Memnos a little nod. Good soldiers don't do that. You listen to your superiors. This is Memnos. Do you know how many men that he's killed? How many creatures he's slain? He's giving you an important job. You should be glad of it. Stand up straight. You two, you other child, let go of him.
Oh, okay.
Both of you, stand up straight. Follow orders.
Can we talk? Are we allowed to talk?
No, you're not. Pemphilos. Okay. They may speak when you say so. They are under your command.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much for these charges.
They're not charges. They're young soldiers. They must prove their mettle just as we all did.
Now, young children, we all embarked on this journey many years ago. We've spent our entire life at war, but being at war is not just about being a soldier. There are many, many tasks involved, and what more important task than immortalizing everything in song and story? So take what Memnon is saying, pay attention, keep your eyes open and your ears open, and together we shall craft a song when this is all done, and your words will go down in history and be written among the stars with the very gods themselves.
Cosmos is very intrigued by what you're saying. He likes the idea of getting to contribute to like documenting this history. Boros is younger. He's not exactly an academic, so he listens to you. He's just not as psyched about it. But the kids kind of start to get restless right as you guys are finishing up your morning meal and preparing for the day.
I urged them over to Pamphlos. You heard what Memnon said. He's your commanding officer. Do as he says.
The children look at you expectantly, Pamphlos.
I'm gonna take a stick, a couple sticks. One I'm gonna char a little bit. It's probably not reasonable that they would know how to write and read. Although I guess Greek culture had one of the highest literacy rates in all ancient cultures.
Well, remember that these two young boys were raised in a house of royalty.
Okay.
Even though they weren't royalty themselves, they were raised among royalty, and you believe them to be educated.
So I'm gonna take a piece of bark. Actually, I'll take a piece of parchment that I probably have on myself and char one of the sticks and hand that to the older one and say, "Now I need you to document everything that has happened to this point so that we can really get a song and a story, and then you'll continue to carry on and watch and listen and don't speak, but write down everything that you know." And then I'm going to carve out a little simple whistle from another stick and show the younger one how to play a few notes on it.
Okay.
And I'm going to hand that to him, and I'm going to say, "This song is one of the greatest gifts that we can give to the gods, and you will surely be blessed by Apollo himself if you learn how to play this well."
Okay. Cosmos is frantically writing. Like, you get the sense that he's trying to write down the words that you're saying as you're saying them. And Boros, the minute you hand him the sort of little flute thing, he takes the stick that he had been using as a sword, and he throws it to the side, and he takes the flute, and he just starts blowing into it, just real loud. And it's that kind of thing. Who did you guys have to play the recorder in like middle school or elementary school or something?
Mm-hmm.
You know how there was always that one kid who blew into it so loud that it just sounded like a gale of wind? Like, that kid. That's what he does with this little flute the minute you give it to him. But he's enthusiastic and super into it. You don't get the sense that Apollo is all about it yet, but he'll get there. It just takes time.
His mother will thank me for this.
And with that, you all are sort of prepared for your day.
Yes, hero, where might we go about locating this beast?
I believe they said it was in a cave. So that way, as I kind of point, I assume in my head, and I don't remember why I think this, but I thought it was like along the shore, like there's an entry because the well was in the middle of town, and we had to go in through a cave.
You didn't go through a cave, so you sort of climbed the cliff face at a pretty severe angle to get out to where Imbrius's camp was.
Right.
And you remember from your conversation with the queen that Imbrius lives near the altar of Apollo, where the Chimera has been terrorizing everyone. It's not a cave per se. It is a covered structure at some points, but it's mainly just a whole bunch of big monolithic rocks on a cliff face that overlooks the whole town.
Cool. Very good.
Easterly facing, so the sun is right there.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, then I'm just gonna, I guess, shoulder and sheathe my weapons and, we got directions yesterday from a crazy old blind man, so if you follow me, I think I can take you right to it.
If you call blind people seers, then it sounds much more official.
Oh.
Yes.
A crazy blind seer. Yes. Yesterday.
Feel far more confident following a seer's advice than just a blind man.
Yes, of course. Well, in
you
any
get
case,
the sense that the gods are giving you a giant thumbs up right now.
As long as it's the thumb.
True.
For now.
Right. The fingers can be difficult to interpret. Yes, please. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Friends, although I've been known to swing a sword, my true capability lay with the bow. If I can set up in a optimal position, I can rain death on the thing.
Excellent. Once we have sight of it, that would be ideal. So, hero, will you lead us to our prey?
Absolutely. And I'm just going to turn and start jaunting off towards where I assume it is.
Hero, you remember. Manticore or Chimera are scary. See, now you got me mixed up. Chimera are scary, but they're not like smart. It's not likely that this creature is gonna hide from you.
Okay.
You get the sense from the stories that you've been told that it's more likely it's gonna pop out of nowhere and try and eat you.
Sounds good.
Does it?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the
Good is not the term I'd use, but you do you. I don't judge.
Well, Memnon, as it turns out, you're going to be in a great position. Let's say, Pamphilos, you stay back, you do your writing thing, and perhaps Katia and I, we make our way forward, and being the beast that it is, I'm sure it will confront us, and then you guys rain down hell upon it, and we'll just slice it up close, and everything will be fine. This will be one of the easiest battles we have ever fought.
Excuse me, just to clarify, are you telling me that your plan is that you will be bait?
Yeah, I thought Katia might come as well, but if she's not feeling it, that's fine. I'm feeling rather nimble today.
I did not sign up to be bait. We can all go and then make a strategy once we've found the beats.
But what if it finds us first?
Then you take out your weapon and do what you've done before.
Quite so. All right, well, let's get going. I'm just gonna double my pace.
So the four of you. Memnon, did you have something you wanted to do?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm probably a hunter of sorts, even though Artemis is not my goddess of choice. Anyone with a bow and arrow, I've probably fed myself and my family many a time.
Mm-hmm.
Looking along, I would like to see if this thing is this big, if I see any signs that a large creature has passed through here, or if I see like circling vultures, like around a recent kill or something like that, to like give us some clue.
So I'm assuming you're doing this once you reach sort of the wooded area where you're getting closer to that altar of Apollo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Roughly a minute to a minute and a half before it pounces and kills us all.
Oh, okay. Yeah, good time. There's actually a trail marker right there. It's so convenient.
And now, yeah, right. It's shaped like one of those automated things, but it looks at you as doing this. Is the marker on the trail.
Yeah.
Right about there.
Cool. Well, being a hunter, as you sort of enter into the woods. Again, this isn't a super thick forest, but it is lush in its own way. There are birds circling, not vultures necessarily, but you hear small woodland creatures sort of scurrying away, maybe see a deer or two. What you do notice is the further you go from the entrance to the woods, the less creatures you see and hear. And it gets to a point where there's no noise whatsoever except the four of you moving through the underbrush. And then...
And our two little homies too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're following you, but they were doing what they're told. They're staying back. And it gets to a point where it's so quiet, you all sort of feel a little unnerved, and you slow down as you start advancing through the woods. You've passed Imbrius's hut, his hovel, so you know that this is where people stop going. This is dangerous turf. And just when it's been silent for way too long, and you start to give up hope of finding where you're going, you hear a growl. Low. Not really close, but you do hear it. You hear the snap of a twig and then nothing. But you do see a clearing up ahead.
Is the growl anywhere in the direction of the boys? Because we were trying to keep them safe, but they also could be the easiest target. So just make sure I'm like...
You turn around and the boys aren't there.
Oh boy.
Boros. Cosmos?
Nothing.
How close is that hovel?
The hovel is... it's about 300 yards back.
Did we see them after we saw the hovel?
You did.
Oh boy.
Just when panic grips you, and you start to feel a chill go down your spine, you hear a giggle a few yards away. You can't see it, but you recognize it as one of the boys. Sort of almost ahead of you, oddly enough, and closer to the clearing.
So they're playing hide and seek.
Pamphlos, I think your young soldiers seem to have gotten out from under your thumb.
I'm starting to suspect they might not be what they claim they are.
Oh. Wait, what?
I'm gonna take my shield off my back and heft my spear and advance towards the giggle into the brush.
Okay. Do you all follow?
No, go ahead, please.
I was gonna say I'm gonna follow. I'm gonna keep my hand to grab his spear in case he accidentally is about to stab one of the children, just so that I can stop child murder from happening.
Oh, good. Stop that child murder.
Yeah, you know.
Good plan. Good plan. Good thought.
If they're children.
Do I get a bond with the god for that?
No.
Is that how that works? Oh, damn. Okay.
Depends on if they got it coming or not. Yeah, right.
They don't care about children.
Gods don't really care.
You were gonna say something, Memnos?
I was just gonna say I keep moving towards the clearing, but I kind of fan so that I would still have a shot at something that Pamphlos encounters in the woods. Basically, like I'm trying to get a bearing, but I am moving towards the clearing as I'm doing it.
You're sort of semi-circling around him so that you weren't all in a line.
Yep, but in the direction of the clearing though.
Gotcha.
So if I get an eye on something else, that's fine.
And Katia?
Katia is listening for the giggle, but she's also kind of wondering, like, what are you doing? But she's got her sword at the ready and her shield up in case something comes out of the woods.
Okay.
And she's kind of mimicking what Memnos is doing, but in the opposite direction.
Gotcha. So as you all advance on this clearing, the tree line breaks. And what you see in front of you is a cliff face that overlooks the whole town. The view would be breathtaking if you all weren't terrified right now. Huge limestone pillars are upright and sort of leaning this way and that. None of them are perfectly straight, but you recognize a large flat altar rock furthest out on the cliff as a place where you would put your offerings to Apollo. Now, everything that had been placed there has since been worn away by weather, by presumably the Chimera, and just by time. There are a couple old sheepskins there, but they're ripped to shreds. A few bones from animals that the Chimera has killed. And the ground is scorched in different places. And as you break the tree line and come onto this clearing, you see the two boys are over behind one of the limestone pillars, and they look scared. And following the direction of their gaze, you see a 15-foot chimera peering over to the top, perched on top of one of these pillars, staring down at them and growling. And that's where we're going to take a quick break to let everybody get in a bio break before you all run away and let these
Everything's
children
fine.
right?
No, before everything's good. Yeah.
Yeah?
Everything's great.
It's true. We are half gods, so we only kind of care.
all of you but Pamphilo, so he may care. We'll see. Cool. So everybody gets a 5-minute break. Let's say 8:53. We'll be back.
Easy math.
On the East Coast.
Yeah.
Okay.
East Coast. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
For Central folks, that's 7:53.
Math is hard.
5:53.
Anyway, in a few minutes, we'll be back.
Bye.
Hey guys, we're back.
It's too late to run. Shoot.
I mean, you can. You'll offend my feelings, and I'll probably just sit here and cry for the rest of this. But you know, if you feel like that's what you got to do.
No, now you're the DM. The correct answer is you can run if you like. You'll just die tired. That's the yeah.
As a strife maker, I prefer emotional torment.
Wisdom damage.
Psychic damage. That's what I. Welcome back, guys. So, when we stepped away, the Chimera had just made its appearance on top of a limestone pillar, looking down with hungry eyes at the children that you all met when you first came to this island. Now, this brings us, unless you guys plan on fleeing, which stop me if that's the case.
No, I'm shooting it.
That brings us to our first battle. So one of the reasons why we decided to play this system was, again, so that people could learn with us, since this isn't D&D, and it's something new and different, and people might think it's fun and want to try it. So Aegon has a 3-stage battle system. Most of the roles that you do in Aegon are just simple contests where it's an opposed role like you would normally do in D&D. But battle has 3 distinct stages. The first stage is called the Clash stage. And so in the Clash stage, the heroes kind of get to decide what they want to do to the opponent in order to win themselves an advantage in the oncoming fight. So, you all are facing a perilous Chimera. What would you like to do, hero, to put yourself in the best position to have this battle?
And just so the Chimera is currently on top of a pillar. Mm-hmm. The boys are hiding behind another one.
Mm-hmm. The distance between them is about 30 feet.
And how far are we from? Like, is it kind of like how far are we from them, and from the Chimera? Same distance.
Think of
like
this
a triangle.
This is a right triangle, and you guys are right in the 90-degree angle there.
Sweet.
So you're sort of equidistant from both parties.
Well then, I guess I'm going to interpose myself between it and the kids at this point. So I know that doesn't give me much in the way of advantage against it, but it gives me advantage, hopefully, against saving the children from a fiery death.
Okay.
So I'm just going to quickly kick into Hermes mode and sprint my way in between them and draw my short swords.
Okay. So you're going to be doing a roll of Resolve in Spirit? You all get to choose what domain you're rolling for this, as long as it fits.
I'm going to attempt to call it towards me, so I'm hoping I can use Blood and Valor to like smack swords together and try and get its attention.
Okay.
That's kind of what I'm leaning towards, just because I'm really worried about kids turning into lunch. So
if you're trying to okay, all right, we'll allow that to be Blood and Valor this time. I would argue that that's almost more of arts and oration because you're trying to distract and sort of trickery your way through all of that.
No, that's fine. I'll do that.
Okay, so you're going to be rolling arts and oration. Memnon, I recall you saying that you were going to shoot the thing. Would you like to do something in the meantime to put yourself at a better advantage of shooting the thing?
Well, here's what I would like to do,
okay.
and then you tell me the order in which they should play. I want to shoot it pretty quickly, even as a distract. Hopefully hit it, of course, but I mean primarily to get it to turn its head at me, which is not near the kids.
Okay.
And then I want to cut into the tree line because I'm going to be shooting it from the trees, but I've got cover, and if it needs to come down, then it's going to have to try and maneuver through the woods while I'm hightailing it and lighten it up. So shoot, get behind the tree. So either that means get into the trees and shoot. Either way, that's my ultimate goal is shoot trees.
Okay. That'll be a test of resolve in spirit. I think that's sort of dead on your bailiwick. Katia, what are you going to be doing? Put yourself at a better advantage.
I'm going to advance from the other side of where Memnon probably is going to try to shoot from.
Okay.
Can I climb up on an opposing pillar from the Chimera?
Yeah, you absolutely can. That'll be... Well, you tell me what domain that falls into.
I believe that would be either Resolve in Spirit or Blood and Valor.
Let's say Blood and Valor. You're putting yourself in harm's way and making yourself a very obvious target there, and it very much fits with your character. Pamphilos, what are you going to be doing to give yourself an advantage in this fight?
Where's the sun right now? How, like, is it coming up? You said the temple faces the east, and is the sun kind of coming up that way? We got an early start, or
you got an early start. The sun is just risen above the plane of the altar to Apollo itself, so you're sort of staring right into it right now. But again, there's a little bit of mist, unnatural almost mist on this island, so it's not as if you're blinded looking right into it. It's sort of hazy.
Okay, but I can't put that at my back and make the monster stare into it?
No. Not unless you want to jump off the cliff. Which I don't recommend.
I would like to put... now I'm turned around. Can I get to the cliff face? Like, the edge of the cliff, if I were to get right up near it, is that possible? And still have the thing see me?
Yes. What is your goal there?
To tempt him with a nice juicy morsel of human right on the edge of the cliff, with the potential of diving out of the way if he were to come at me. But I'm gonna go sort of set myself on the edge of the cliff there and bang my spear on my shield.
Okay. And what would you think, what domain would you think that falls into?
I think it's going to be Resolve in Spirit, because it's going to take a bit of some hair there to stand on the edge of the cliff and matador this Chimera.
Okay. We're going to say, hold on, I got to look up one thing real quick.
I believe that Hero has a question as well.
Yes, Hero.
So, do we apply divine favor and stuff during this phase, or is that only is that it? Can you apply that anytime?
Literally, what I was just reading myself. Yeah.
I believe you can do it whenever you kind of want to.
Okay, and in bonds you can just call on whenever as well.
Yes.
Okay.
What about invoking pathos?
Invoking pathos you can also kind of do whenever.
Okay.
As long as you have the pathos to mark off. Okay,
I don't get, right? Like, you guys get pathos, I do not. Oh no, we all have...
You all have pathos.
Right.
It's essentially your health in this game.
Okay.
Like, you lose pathos, you end up actually hurting yourself and marking off fate.
Into
scores.
agony.
Yeah, into agony. Which is fine. I mean, if you suffer a fate, then you just become a hero sooner and are lost to legend sooner.
Excuse me. Some of us are already heroes, clearly labeled
I
hero.
mean, everyone seems to know who you are too, Memnon, so...
Just saying.
All right.
So that's... Okay, I'll wait till it's my turn to ask about the actual dice pool.
Okay. Oh, that's not terrible. Okay. All right, so for the first part, the clash portion of our battle, the number to beat is going to be a 12.
Okay.
So what you're going to do, you are going to roll a d6 right now for your name dice. If your epithet applies, or if you think you can reasonably defend it in court, you're going to add another d6 to your pool. If you are invoking, or well, rather, you all gain a d10 of advantage. So add a d10 to your dice pool, because I think you all put yourself in a better position to have this fight. Roll those. And then if any of you are calling on bonds from other heroes, now is the time to speak or forever hold your peace.
I am going to go ahead and apply one of my Pamphilos ones. Do we go and roll that now, or do we wait?
Well, hold on. Pamphilus, what are you going to do to help out Hero in this fight? He looks desperate. You see a look in his eyes that dude looks scared.
So I'm gonna attempt to bolster him, as they say, a little bit of inspiration, maybe, if we were playing a different game here. And I'll yell out a key line from his story the previous night when he defeated the Chimera, and say, "Remember, you have it in you. You've done it once before."
Okay.
Sweet.
You are going to add a d6 to your dice pool, Hero.
Okay. And so it's whatever their name die is.
It's whatever
right?
their name die is, which truthfully, Hero, Katia, and Pamphilios, you all earned enough glory last time that you are probably closing in on having a d8 instead of a d6 for your name die.
Okay.
So, right now, everyone should be rolling their name dice, the dice for the domain that they just chose for their action, and if it applies, their epithet dice. And Hero, you'll be rolling an additional d6. So everyone's going to roll those, take the highest 2. Oh, and a d10. I'm sorry. And you all each got a d10 advantage die in there.
Okay, so
and this is, we're calling upon the gods. That's a D4.
If you're calling upon the gods, when you have those 2 dice rolled, you're going to add a d4 roll on top of that.
okay.
And mark off one of your...
If we call upon Pathos, what kind of die is that?
It's also a d4.
Right, because I don't want to miss this. Right. So the 2 4s, the 10, and the highest of the 2. Ooh, I rolled really well. And the highest of the 6s, is
It's
that what
whatever,
we're adding up?
it's so the first dice pool, the dice pool that doesn't include divine favor or pathos, the 2 highest dice numbers rolled there, no matter what they are. So if you rolled a 6 on the 6 and then a 2 on the d10, you weren't required to take the 2.
Got it. I have a total of 19.
Okay. Hero.
Am I not understanding? So I get, so the 2 that I rolled initially, because I don't get to add my epithet to this one. So I have arts and oration. I have
your name dice.
My name dice.
And a d10 for advantage.
Okay. So I take the top 2 of those 3 and then add the other stuff.
Yep.
Okay.
No, the name dice is also one of those in the pool. Or, sorry, for mine, the bond dice.
Yes. Okay. It's one of the, yes. Okay. Gotcha. Then in that, just from that, I have 10, if I'm reading that right. And then I have to roll the extra stuff?
If you choose to use them.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't, because if I only had D6s and a D10, the most I could get is 16, I guess. So, I guess I'm going to bump that up to 12, because I did roll a D4, and I got a 2. So, I got a 12.
Okay. Katia.
15.
And Pamphilios?
16.
Am I mathing wrong? Like, I feel like I got, because one of mine was a 6. Am I doing this wrong?
Did you roll a d10 and 2 d6 for me?
I did that.
And take the 2 highest numbers rolled there.
Okay. So, so the highest I could get from that roll is 16, right? And then I get
Mine is so high because I had 2 D4s and both of those were 4s.
He added a bunch of shit on top of his.
Yeah, so that's I'm all
Okay,
like,
I just
Athena,
felt
I
like
really need this to work.
Memnon is trying to show you up. No, that's why we're doing this,
no
right?
worries.
We're all learning right now. That's the whole point of doing it this way.
I rolled a 6, a 4, and a 10, so I maxed that one out.
Gotcha. So I just rolled real bad.
Okay. So before we actually storytell out this combat and all this, Memnon, you're going to mark 19 glory on top of your sheet. Hero, Katia, and Pamphilus, you're going to mark half of 12, so you're going to mark 6 glory on top of your sheet. So you all have put yourself in these advantageous positions while facing the Chimera. And the Chimera roars as you all sort of skirt around it and get ready to take your shot, Memnon, and bang upon your shield, Pamphilus, and put yourself at eye level, Katia. And As you all are sort of, for lack of a better term, surrounding the Chimera jumps forward off of that limestone pillar, and a few things happen at once. The Chimera is running towards the children. You can see that is the subject of its ire at the moment. The limestone pillar it had been standing on shifts underneath its weight and actually starts to roll to one side and teeter to where it looks like it's about to fall down the cliffside and straight into town. And it opens up its gaping maw. So you're put in a position where you have a couple of different immediate threats that you can address with this Chimera. Now, you all have put yourself in advantageous positions, and let's start with Memnon. We're going to do you last because you had the best roll. Hero, you're going to succeed at whatever you're trying to do, but would you like to defend something, either the town or the children, or threaten the Chimera?
I'm going to, well, at this point, I'm going to defend the children.
Okay. Katia, are you going to defend or try and seize the upper hand in the battle?
Seize the upper hand in the battle.
Okay. Pamphilos, are you going to try and defend either the town or the children, or are you going to try and seize the upper hand in the battle?
I'm gonna go try and be a speed bump for this pillar that's rolling. I imagine it's much larger than I am, but you know what?
And Memnon, I think I know the answer to this, but are you going to try and immediately shield the children, or are you going to try and seize the upper hand in the battle?
Believe it or not, the plans changed because I very much drew down on the Chimera, like right at its eye, and I see this, and I actually want to shoot my arrows into the ground as staplers against the pillar, so it can't roll.
There you go.
Okay,
Yep.
so, Katia, remind me, are you defending?
No, I'm best position.
Okay, cool. So, while the Chimera is sort of soaring through the air towards the children, Hero, you come out of the peripheral vision that it has and immediately sort of shuffle them out of harm's way, shielding them with your body in the process. Pamphilos, you see this pillar that's about to overtake the edge of the cliff and just tumble into town, destroying all of the houses of all of the people that you've just met. And you sort of brace yourself for impact right in front of it to try and slow it down and hopefully stop it from going any further. Out of the corner of your eye, while that's happening, arrows sail through the air and shoot into the ground at an angle sort of at your feet. And at first you're like, wow, why'd you fire on me, man? That was super rude. But then you realize that as the pillar comes towards you, it sort of slows on those arrows, unnaturally almost, as if Memnon's arrows have something special about them. And Katia, you take on the Chimera. You go for it. How do you want to try and battle this thing? What does this look like?
Since Katia had already kind of climbed the pillar to try to attack it head on, since it's jumped down, she basically jumps down on its back, sword down to kind of just stab it right in the neck.
Okay. So that was the center, that was the threat phase of our battle, and now we move on to the finale where we find out exactly what happens for everything. Defenders, Hero, those children are shuffled off to safety, and you've done your duty there, but you now turn around and see Katia sailing through the air, sword drawn, coming down on this Chimera with a blood-curdling shriek. She's pretty fierce looking right now. Memnon, as soon as you release your arrows, you look over and see almost this exact thing, but in a panoramic view, and you're like, my God, this would make a great painting. Just holy shit. Pamphilos, you've gotten the marble pillar that was the limestone pillar that was rolling to sort of come to a stable-ish stop, and you glance to your left just to make sure that you are not in danger. And again, you see Katia coming down with this sword through the air. Katia, I'm going to have you roll the exact same dice pool that you rolled before, with the exception of any extra dice you rolled, unless you
I
would
did
like
not
to
roll
add
any
them
extra.
again. Okay. You are trying to beat... Ooh. You're trying to beat an 18 this time. However, players who were operating as defenders last turn, if you would like to, you can do something to assist Katia while she makes a swipe at the Chimera.
Since I did not take a divine favor last time, can I take one now?
You absolutely can. Hero, Memnon, or Pamphilos, would any of you like to do anything to assist Katia?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
I guess I'm just gonna rush up, seeing that she's kind of coming at it like movie style from behind. I'm gonna try and keep it distracted from the front and like just jab both of my short swords up into its chest.
Okay.
I can or can't do something right
you
now.
You can. How would you like to assist her?
If it looks like the column is slowing down, I'm gonna break out of the forest and head for the column, but keep shooting the manticore while I do, because I'm really trying to get it to turn its head to look at me.
Okay.
But I'm running in the direction of the pillar this time.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Pamphilos?
So, oh god, sorry.
You're fine. I'm gonna add more dice to your pool here, so don't give me a number just yet, okay? Pamphilos, are you gonna do anything to assist Katia?
Now, is this I'm confused about the storyline now. Are we? She is sinking the sword into it because she chose to seize the day.
The player who seizes the battle is the one who ultimately controls its outcome. You cannot win a battle if you do not seize it. Now, those threats are still important to tackle, and you all will still be heroes for, I don't know, preventing the destruction of the entire town and, you know, stopping those children from getting eaten. But in this moment, and exactly what's happening right now, Katia is the one in control of the outcome of this battle.
Okay. I am actually so we're there in Apollo's temple basically right now, right?
Mm-hmm. It's not a temple, it's an altar. It's open air, it's not inside.
Right. And the sun is high over the eastern sky behind the Chimera. I'm actually going to drop my sword and shield and pull out my lyre and give out a metal yell to Apollo to let him know we're defending his area, and maybe he will shine his shining light on Katia as she brings the swords down.
Okay. Hero, you were doing a blood and valor action, correct?
Yeah.
Is that a D6 or a D8 for you?
For me, it's a D8.
Okay. Katia, add a D8 to your dice pool. Okay. Memnon, you were kind of trying to distract and do all of that. We're going to call that blood and valor as well, and I think that's a D6 for you, correct?
For me, yeah, that's not my jam, so I think it's a 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Add another D6 to your dice pool, Katia. And Pamphilos, I really like what you did there, so we're just going to make that a D10. So Katia, go ahead and add a D10 to your dice pool.
Okay, I'm going to have to re-roll my current D10.
Okay.
Right now, I've actually got 18 before I add these extra dice.
Okay. Let's see how much you do here.
So, 18, 25, 32, and I have to re-roll a D10 to add that. And that is a 1. So 33, 34, because I forgot the D4.
Okay. Tell me how you deal with this Chimera.
So imagine, you know, like when you're playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey and you're fighting the legendary creatures, you just see like this angry little woman who is like, you know, hilt over her head, sword down, and as she lands, she just goes right for the neck and goes and severs it because she has hit it so hard.
So, in the moments where your sword, your blade is slicing like butter through the neck of this chimera, spraying blood all over the altar to Apollo, a beautiful chord rings out on the lyre that Pamphilus has seemingly produced from nowhere after stopping the pillar. It's a haunting melody that sort of rings out off of this mountainside as you bring down your blade. An arrow hisses out of nowhere, and just before the chimera's jaws sort of close in on your thigh, you've already cut off its head, but it can still bite. The arrow zooms past its head, and with a whoosh, it sort of turns and loses interest in you for just the faintest moment. And Hero, remind me, how exactly were you trying to aid her?
I was attempting to just kind of stab it and hold it in place so
Okay.
that she could land her strike.
As the arrow is sort of flying past and the manticore is turning its... Manticore. See, you got me doing it now. As the chimera is sort of turning its head with that, the body of the chimera is still coming forward, and it's huge, so it could still do lots of damage, but Hero almost slides underneath you, sword raised, and cuts a long line right down the belly of the beast, leaving a trail of sort of gore and sinew as he goes. In two distinct thumps, the head and the body of the chimera just fall to the altar and almost immediately start dissolving in smoke and ash. The hilltop is quiet. It's still unbelievably quiet. And as you all come to a still moment and realize that you've vanquished the chimera, a throne appears, hovering just off the cliff face. It's a throne made of writhing snakes. On it sits a woman with jet black hair and almost white eyes. They seem to glow just slightly. And she's staring directly at you, Memnon.
I basically like run over and just sort of like plant my shoulder against the rolling column and just like jam my spear down in it, like wedge it a little bit, and then just step out. I'm like, Goddess.
You look upon me now, even though we've met many times before, Memnon.
Is this face known to me?
How devout were you? I mean, you obviously have a kinship with Athena.
I'd say fairly. Like I was fully prepared to offer prayers to Apollo here to like sort of be like, hey, you know, no one's altar should get desecrated, you know. So yeah, it's
this is
I recognize the hand the gods have in the mortal world.
This is Eris, goddess of discord. And you realize now that this is the broken pottery. This was the sign from Athena. And she stares at you with seething hatred. Memnon, you've abandoned your sacrifices to me.
Just with the bow with no arrow in it, I just point towards the dead chimera, and I'm like, would this great beast be a sufficient offering?
This was merely a pet, designed to test you to see if you still had what it takes. You offer your prayers to Athena nightly, but I was the one who kept you occupied and famed for the past 10 years of this war.
now I start moving sort of away from all of them. So if she's gonna like throw a fireball or something, it's I'm like sort of swinging wide a bit, and I just say, I did not realize that it was by your hand that I found victory in battle after battle. How might I show proper gratitude and praise unto one as powerful as yourselves? Surely these frail mortals below need not suffer for your glory.
Their discomfort brings me joy, as does yours. And theirs, and she gestures to your new comrades.
But life is discomfort, goddess. From the day we enter until the day we leave, surely you must not result to torment when we might offer great songs, and a motion towards Pamphalos in praise and music to your glory, Eros.
I do not suffer your praise and music like these pitiful gods. She gestures to the altar of Apollo. I relish the wars men wage, the fights households have. I bring you here to this island inhabited by your enemies, and you decide to help them.
They represent the opposing side from my side. It doesn't make them my enemies.
Then you are a fool, and you have learned nothing in these times of war. Until you learn your fate, more trials shall you face. And then she disappears.
Does she know who our parents are? Because that was awfully disrespectful, is what I'm saying right now.
I don't know that she cares.
So that seemed like it was very much directed at you, my friend. Are we in danger then, staying near you, or shall we earn greater glory? What shall we decide?
Apparently she wishes to sow trials and discord upon me. With your assistance, by your glorious deeds, these people were saved today. I would be honored to travel with you, although I understand if you wish to go your separate ways, if I have a chaos goddess seeking revenge on me.
Well, I, for one, would relish the stories that shall come from this.
Well, before she disappeared, I mean, Chaos Goddess sounds kind of up my alley in a way. But you're not going to just turn around and stab us when we sleep, are you? Because she did make it very clear that we're enemies. So I just want to make sure that there's a little more here than that.
I was going to shoot you in the leg as a blood offering, but she departed before I could, so no.
Oh, well, I'll have to purchase some better armor for my legs then. Don't want to, in case she ever shows up again, you know.
I do extend a hand though, and I say, I saw what you did. Truly heroic.
I'll take it. Got a Spartan clasp.
Yeah. And I look at Katia and I'm like, and well struck. Took its head in a single blow.
Thank you. She's just like shaking blood off her blade and giving kind of a disgusted look at the corpse of what's left of the Chimera and the dust and what have you.
The children. Oh, sorry.
Oh.
Go ahead,
Mama.
I was
just gonna say, knowing what I know, because the gods are my jam. Whatever we can do to show respect to Apollo here. Like, I mean, he played the lyre. Is it the blood? Is it not the blood? Is it cleaning? Is it leaving it dirty? Like, whatever I know about what Apollo might smile upon, I try to do that.
So you know that leaving any kind of offering, be it rations, be it food, be it song, anything that you do at this altar is going to now reach Apollo. You get the sense that, or I should say, Hero, Katia, and Pamphilos, you know that ultimately, yes, the Chimera was a plague on the village, but there was also an issue with the water supply and something like that. And you know that that directly pertains to how Apollo feels he's been treated on this island.
I take I prop the column, and I put some rocks there where it's not just immediately going to roll.
Okay.
And I take the arrows I fired into the ground, and I dip them in the blood of the Chimera, and put those as an offering on the altar, saying the appropriate prayers.
Pamphilos, are you still playing your lyre?
Well, I stopped when the snake god, kind of popped up.
Oh, sure.
But
She's
now I've
distracting.
started basically composing a new tune with different notes for Katia jumping off the pillar, and some sharp twangs for Memnon firing his arrows, as well as some smooth, rapid chords for Hero sliding under and slicing the gaping hole there to allow everyone to not be crushed.
And
I'm constructing a song as we go.
as you're working on that, Cosmas, who was pretty terrified, but he brings you the piece of parchment that he'd been given, and it has just weird little notes written all over it. There are a couple crude drawings of like you with a big impressive mustache, and Katia with a giant sword, and Memnon with very angry eyebrows. Like, there are little sketches of you guys and little notes that it's obvious that he made on the way up here. And he just, with a shaking hand, kind of hands that to you, and with dinner plate eyes is staring up at you as you're working on this song. And he's got his other hand holding his brother's hand. Boros is crying silent tears, but trying to look really brave as he's standing there. And you all note, as the notes of this song sort of ring out, and as the blood tipped arrows touch the surface of Apollo's altar, seemingly from nowhere, beneath that rock, a small stream of water, crystal clear, almost sparkling, seems to erupt from the ground, and you follow its path as it starts to flow downstream towards the path that you all followed up here. Apollo appears to be pleased.
Is the water is it like widening out, or is it just steady? Is it as it flows?
It's steady. It builds to sort of a babbling brook. It's not like a river, but it's enough water that you get the sense that it will nourish the town.
So what you're saying is I should not pee in the blessed Apollo water.
I mean, pee is sterile. You do what you do.
No, I'll hold it. I'll save it for the ocean.
The kids might tell their mom. I mean,
yeah.
Seems like the kind of thing they would talk about. Mom, we saw Memnon pee on Apollo's altar.
No, just the water, not the altar, just the water. But yes, no, I'll hold it. Thanks.
And Boros, once he sees the water, he sort of takes the little flute that you'd made for him and tucks it into his belt, and he goes and he gets a handful of water like this. We should take some to the prince. He'll need it, right? This will make him feel better?
I believe that is probably Apollo's wishes. Yes. That is a grand idea, young master.
Okay. And he starts walking towards the path, like, really slow to try not to spill it as he's going.
Hopefully we have canteens on us.
Yeah. So I'm guessing you guys fill up a couple vials of Apollo
Holy
mountain
water.
Ice water.
Water skin full, yeah.
Yeah, I fill up all of my available water pouch skin things.
Yeah, I drink some, I fill some, and I very closely inspect where the goddess came out of the wall. You said that was Eros, right? what you said her name was?
Eris. Eris.
Eris.
Eris. Goddess of Discord.
And I just look for any other signs, like if there's anything she left behind, symbols, anything. Yeah.
No. You do feel the piece of broken pottery in your pouch is unnaturally cold right now. Almost like painful to touch.
Yeah. I feel the same. And sort of look around and then go about seeing these kids back. I think you were going to say something about them when I interrupted you. I apologize.
Just that they came over very excited, and now Boros he's already headed back down the mountain, and Cosmos kind of sees his brother like rushing away and goes to follow him and sort of waves you guys along.
Take some trophies from this freaking Chimera though, like big old horns or like a bizarre tail, some scaly skin. Break this thing down.
I was gonna say I want to do that for sure, but did it disintegrate?
It started to dissolve, but we'll say you guys before it was completely gone, you each had the opportunity to pull a tooth from its mouth, and like it was huge. They take up the whole palm of your hand. They're big.
Yeah. Yep. Something, goes a long way.
A little trophy, a little souvenir. So as you all sort of make your way back down the cliff face, you're walking parallel to this stream, this brook that you can see now very clearly does run into the village. And where the well had been, and it was really gross, what you failed to see before was there was a small fountain near that had obviously previously been fed by this babbling brook. But since the brook had been dry, it just looked like a stone receptacle in the middle of town. And so as you set foot sort of in the town square, that main thoroughfare, you see that fountain is slowly filling up with this crystal clear water. And there are already a few townspeople out sort of inspecting it, looking around very, very skeptically. And then seeing you all come down from the mountainside. A little exhausted. Katia, you're covered in blood.
Yeah.
But seeing all of this happen, and people are coming out of their houses to congratulate you and thank you for what you've done for their village. And the boys keep on going towards the palace.
I would like to hop up on the fountain and start regaling the crowd with the tales of my compatriots, how they saved the village and slew the Chimera and rescued the village in the process, and that the water is safe to drink and is blessed by Apollo.
Make me a contest roll for arts and oration. You're trying to beat a 3. This won't be hard.
Breathe. I cannot.
Don't jinx it. 2 is possible.
Here comes the 2.
I rolled.
Here comes
4.
the 2.
I rolled a 3 and a 1.
Well, hey, you still beat it. Tell me what the reaction is like in the crowd as you regale them with this story.
Well, first they look at the water and they look at the blood-soaked heroes, because I assume Hero got a little bit of Chimera blood on him as well. And I don't have the lyre out. This is more of an oration storytelling with some jumping about and whatnot, and
play
acting.
And
then just a little.
You make Hero pretend to be the Chimera. And
and then I grab a passing villager and squirt some of the water from my water skin into their mouth, and they rejoice, and they all begin splashing in the brook and drinking it up.
And you can see the crowd, the crowd, which, you'd walk through town and you'd seen very pale, sickly folks. And even though the water doesn't immediately alleviate all of those ailments that you can see are afflicting people, people seem genuinely more lively, more emotive and excited. And the morale of the town is heightened greatly. And at this point in time, the two children have made it to the palace, and you see out of the front door, the two boys come side by side with Queen Ione, who has her son. His arm is draped over her shoulders, so he's still obviously not well enough to walk on his own, but he is sort of stumbling into the town square, and they make their way to you, and immediately just bow. And Queen Ione is weeping with joy. I don't know how to thank you. We all would have died. There's no one here who could have taken care of the Chimera.
We did what we did for the glory of the gods and for the help of the people. We need no thanks or praise. Right, folks? Right, friends?
Katia just looks at you. It's like, and just, I can't eat praise.
We have fish aplenty.
If I have to eat another fish, I will gut you.
Please, whatever you want. Just name it. It'll be yours.
A bath would be great.
A bath. Let's see.
Well, there is an abundance of divine water now. Surely drawing a bath for a hero should be no small thing.
Yes. I'll have Auxesia draw you one immediately at the palace. You can use our finest bath to relax. Thank you so much. My son, he's still not well, but he's opened his eyes for the first time in a week.
Well, my queen, I wish only to eat at your right hand this evening, so you can tell me about how you've managed to stay so brave during such a tough time.
Yes, certainly. Absolutely.
Do you have a proper altar of Apollo? Perhaps I should talk to your priest and priestesses about how to properly honor the light bearer.
Imbrius is around here somewhere. I'm sure he'd be happy to speak to you. He usually took care of the offerings. Most of the other men who did it are dead now. So
he has smiled upon you, but you must be careful to maintain his favor.
Of course. Everything for Apollo. And she sort of now having things to do, having chores to fulfill to honor her heroes, she sort of shuffles with her son back towards the palace, and Auxesia then takes the prince's other shoulder, so he's sort of between the two of them being half carried back to the palace. But she does beckon you to come with. It's afternoon now, so there's plenty of time for you all to get cleaned up, and Auxesia sort of sends you to two private bath chambers, his and hers, if you will, and fills it up with steaming water full of rose petals and just a little bit of oil so that it'll soothe your aching muscles while you get cleaned up. And once you're presentable, she bids that you join her for a grand feast in your honor. And for the first time in several weeks, the palace is alive again. And the banquet hall, which had previously sat empty, now is lit with torches and not full of people because, again, people are still sick, but there are several folks in not tattered rags around with goblets of wine who are obviously trying to enjoy themselves, and they ask you questions about the war, and Katia, they seem very interested in you. They don't typically see a lot of warrior women here, so they're very intrigued by your power and your might and your strength, and they ask you all about what you did in the War of Treya, and what you did before that, and where you plan on going now, and how hard is captaining, and you are tired of talking to them after a little while.
Oh yeah, I probably don't want to talk to anyone until I'm clean.
Yeah, you've gotten the opportunity to bathe and sort of relax for a minute. You aren't caked with blood anymore.
Good. Katia just grunts in answer to a couple things, and after a while, she just holds her hand up. I am exhausted from the fight with the Chimera. Give me quiet and peace.
Oh, of course, of course, my lady. And the portly gentleman who had been trying to occupy all of your time pours you a little more wine and sort of gives you a wink, and then turns to the person who was on his other side and starts rambling at them instead. Hero, as requested, you are sitting at the right hand of the queen, who's very confused as to why you requested that. But she's there, and she's asking you questions about what you saw on the cliff face, and making polite chit-chat about the war without asking too many prodding questions.
I'm very happy to tell her all about that, but I want to hear more about her. So I'm going to start questioning her about stuff as well, how she managed to get through this tough time alone.
If she claims the law of surprise and killing everybody, I want you to know that. Just arrows raining.
And Red Wedding. We'll come back to that, Hero. Memnon. At the feast, Imbrius, who you had not met until now, finds you. He's a sort of a broken-looking man with a white bandage draped across his eyes. It's obvious he isn't sighted anymore, but he does find you with the help of Oxysia, who sort of leads him to you and introduces the two of you. I was told that perhaps you had knowledge of how best to please Apollo, that we might not find ourselves in this situation again. I don't think we can afford to lose more people.
The seer, yes. And then I tell him everything.
I'm just a blind man. I don't see things.
You are the one that gave us the advice on how to find the Chimera, though, correct?
Yes.
Then I kind of gently put a hand on his shoulder so I don't scare him. I'm like, then your advice guided heroes to a grand victory over a divine foe. If that doesn't make you a seer, I don't know what does.
And he'll just sort of chuckle at that notion. And the only thing I see is some wine in our future. Come, let's celebrate.
And I do turn up with the guy, and I tell him everything. I tell him, I do tell him that while offering prayers to Apollo and things, somewhere they should set up an altar to Eris, and make offerings to her too, to avoid should she become angry with them for living in too much peace and harmony here.
Oh, that's strange. We've never had run-ins with Eris before. I didn't know that she generally visited normal folks. But if you say that is the way, then that's what we shall do.
In my experience, chaos and discord visit us all, friend. I wave in his face that he doesn't see, Yeah.
He sort of like he felt the gust, but drinks some more wine.
Yeah. Other than that, no, I just drink and do relax and enjoy the evening.
Pamphilos, this is your crowd. These are sort of your folks. What are you doing at this party?
So I've taken the time to do a couple different things. Obviously, I'm gonna tell the story, right? And I'm gonna sing a few songs about each one of my compatriots, not just here, but in their past exploits. Just sort of the entertaining portion of the feast and the meal, and that's really what I enjoy. And then when I retire to eat my own food, I actually retire with the kids, and I teach them I carve out a few more flutes and teach them how to play them a little more melodically, so that they can praise Apollo and the other gods with their song and music.
So the beginning of that process was real touchy. You like make all these flutes and you start giving them to the children, and you see the parents are already like crossing their arms and sort of looking at you like, why would you do this to us? We literally just got rid of one terrible thing and you're gonna give us this. But towards the end of the evening, you get to a point where you've taught them enough that it sort of sounds intentional. And they're kids, so it's cute. It's fine. Sorry, I'm opening up our giveaway because we hit our sub goal.
Hey.
And
Hey.
The kids are all sort of playing in unison at this point, and you're like, yeah, and the parents start clapping along, and the queen looks overjoyed. She hasn't heard Happy Children in so long, and you see tears sort of welling in her eyes. Hero is talking to her at the time, and he looks pretty proud. He looks like he thinks he did that to her, but you know better. And back to Hero talking to the queen. So you said that you wanted to learn more about her. What exactly are you asking her?
Oh no, full disclosure, Hero's not a nice guy. He's just like, he sees a queen there and he saved the town. He's like, hey queen, you lonely? Like, he's probably not smooth
hey
at it.
girl,
either.
hey, yep.
Yeah, he's not great at it. He's like, he probably uses the same line used on everybody. Would you like to know how I got the name Nimble-Handed? As he like kind of creepily leans in a bit.
Yes, I would like to know how.
Oh, well, that normally goes differently. Hey, you see that guy over there, Pamphilos? That's my friend. Isn't he great? Making
yes,
children happy and stuff?
I do so love to hear that the children are playing again. It's something we haven't had here in a long time.
Yeah, they're well, make sure you keep them on the right path. Their kids are our future. I'm gonna kind of get up at that point and just you're doing a good job here, and the kids are great. I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna get up at that point.
Oh, okay, farewell.
Can Katia do something really terrible?
You know what? Yes, of course she can. What would she like to do?
Is it not more terrible than that?
Oh, wait.
Hey, Queenie,
Yes,
you lonely?
No, please, Katia's got better game than that. Even if I don't, my characters do. Katia kind of swaggers over because she knows she's the big damn hero since she killed the Chimera, and offers the queen wine and sits next to her and asks how she's doing while she just turns around and winks at Hero.
I'm probably outside.
You didn't get outside that fast.
It's fine with me.
The queen.
Like as one of my arrows comes out and nails his boot to the floor. It's like, no, you're gonna stand and watch this. You're gonna stand and watch this.
It makes sense. It makes sense to Hero now why the advances were not quite taken.
No, this is perfect. So you know what? I really kind of want Memnon to shoot the arrow, but like just with his eyeballs, not actually doing it. Like you stare at her, Hero, and he's like, okay, I'll stay right here. As Katia's sort of taking a seat and pouring some wine for the queen, and the queen is like, I don't know how to thank you. This is more than we ever could have imagined. I was lost. You've saved our whole village. I don't know how to thank you. I don't know how Namphos can thank you for what you've done. And she sort of takes your hands while she's saying this. Not in like a creepy way, but like she's just overwhelmed with joy. And very sincerely, she doesn't know how to repay your kindness.
So Katia just gives her a sly little smile. That, I'm sure that there are ways we can think of, my queen.
Just name it and it shall be yours. If you'll both excuse me for a moment, I need to go check on my son. He's still not 100%. And she'll stand from the table and go to the sick chamber that you all had originally met her in.
Okay. So Katia just leans back, raises her goblet to Hero.
I want to have made my way over to Pamphilos at this point and just watching this whole exchange. Pamphilos,
Hmm.
I tried the line. It works every time. And yet this time, it does not appear to have worked. Am I getting old? Am I losing my edge?
He's going to take a step back and look at him. Yes.
I thought as much. I'll have to work on some tactics that incorporate my newfound wisdom and age.
I can show you a few tunes to pluck on the lyre. The ladies, they like the music.
I'm going to grab a tankard and sit and just watch intently now, thoroughly convinced, because Pamphlos would never lie to me, thoroughly convinced that this is my only recourse, and having never touched an instrument before, I'm going to attempt to pick it up now.
I would like to craft another flute, and hand it to him, just like I've done to all the children here. Here, go ahead and join the chorus, and here, Boros, teach Hero how to play. Teach him all you've learned.
Hero.
And I will leave you in the capable hands of my newest pupil.
Hero, I would like you to make a craft and reason roll.
Craft and just a single one?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm gonna make it real easy for you to succeed here.
Probably not. Got a 3.
Oh no, you suck.
We'll work on that.
It's Boros that got called over to help. And he takes his flute and he's like showing you how to hold it. And he's standing taller, he's feeling real proud of himself. And he gives you like a simple 3-note melody.
Okay.
And you sort of straighten up to show up this stupid little kid, and you go.
And then they point to the sign, "No stairway to heaven."
Yeah.
Free bird. And you can't get this flute to make any noise right now. You tried.
They said something about old dogs and new tricks, but it is escaping me right now. Thank you for your help, Boros.
We shall work on it. We've got plenty of time ahead.
As the day comes to an end, a lot of the townsfolk, they had a really good time at this party. There was a lot of wine passed out. And with you all having been fed and watered and alcoholed and bathed and sort of seemingly taken care of for your moment's needs, you know that you could crash at the palace, but your soldiers, that just doesn't feel quite right now. And plus, you should probably go let Diomedes know you're not dead, since he was kind of concerned about it. So Oxysia, the handmaiden who'd been so kind to you all, and Boros and Cosmas's mother, sort of hands you all a basket of bread and some fruits and a couple of vegetables, some roots and things that she knows that'll last for a little while, and gives them to you in a basket to take back for the rest of the crew. And bids you good evening.
Adieu.
Anything you guys want to do on the way back to the ship?
I'll probably take a minute longer to see if another kid can teach me the flute. Maybe I didn't get taught right.
We'll say that Cosmas walks with you.
Okay.
Because he still thinks you're the best.
Okay, that makes sense.
Make me another craft and reason roll.
Okay. Well, if it'll not get stuck. 5.
Okay, that time it was good enough. So, Cosmos is he's doing the thing that golfers do, he's poking your hands to where they need to go to make you make the noise.
Right.
But you do somehow manage to blast out hot cross buns by the time you make it back to the beach.
Yes, that is exactly what I wanted.
You did such a good job. It's great. It sounded
Hero can die now.
And dead. End scene. You guys make it back.
He will have died a hero. Yeah.
No. You all make it back to the ship. Diomedes looks really relieved to see you all. He's even happier to see that you brought bread with you. And he sees that you all are tired, so he doesn't pressure you too much about the day itself. He doesn't want to ask too much. Yes, Memnon?
Just would say tip off the crew that Magic Apollo water's coming out of the fountain. Like if they want some before we shove off too. Like that's the kind of thing you wouldn't want to miss.
Yeah,
Like we're 2 days out to
Yo,
sea.
dog.
Yeah, and we're like, wow, man, that Apollo water was crazy. They're like, what?
I haven't been thirsty in weeks.
It's funny you should mention that. It looks like in the time that you all had been bathing and preparing for this meal, several crates of provisions, as well as several water skins full of the Apollo water, as you put it, were brought to the shore to be loaded aboard the ship. Katia, there's a smaller box that was designated for you by the people who delivered it. It doesn't have a lot of like riches in it, but there's some fine cloth and some pearls and things like that. The nicest things that they still had laying around the palace were put in that specifically for you, and brought to the ship already.
Oh, cool. So I give them a slight bow and thank them, and make sure that I put everything away for safekeeping.
Is there anything you all would like to do on the ship right now, or on the beach?
It's not sleep time, right?
It's getting there. And before too long, Diomedes doesn't want to ask too many questions about your day because, he can tell that some shit's gone down, but he doesn't want to be too nosy about it. Diomedes is like, well, we've repaired the ship, and I think I've got a bearing on where we're at right now. It would be good for us to catch the currents tomorrow morning at first light.
You're right. I think I'm gonna call it an early night after all. And she gives an exaggerated stretch and glances at the hero. Slaying chimeras is hard work, right, hero?
It is, especially by yourself.
Oh, you all helped me.
Oh, well. Yeah. I think Hero's going to look for the two boys then.
The two boys being Boros and...
yeah, if they're still following along.
They came along with you as far as the shore, but it was getting so dark that they kind of thought maybe they should probably head home.
Oh, okay.
Kids can't stay up too late and party.
Yeah, never mind then. I missed them. Guess.
I mean, they walked with you if there was something you wanted to talk to them about.
I mean, he was honestly just gonna. If I've got a second, yeah, I'll just pull him to the side. Now look, being a hero is very hard work, and if you listen to your mother and you eat your greens and work really hard and do all the things that Pamphilos told you, I mean, one day this could be you. As I kind of motion to the rest of the heroes walking away, so just keep that in mind. And I kind of awkwardly stand up and walk away. He's doing his best to be the wise old man now.
The two boys, you hear them as they sort of retreat and start heading back towards the village. You hear them arguing over who's gonna be who. So Cosmos is like, no, I'm gonna be Katia when I get older, and Boros is like, I'm gonna be Memnon. No, Hero. It's so hard to choose, and you sort of hear that continue as they head back towards the village. Pamphilos, is there anything that you would like to do?
Yes. So first, I'd like to build a small fire, and build a small fire and give up an offering to Hephaestus for the ingenuity and creativity that allowed me to get through the day, and then additionally, I would like to offer up thanks to Apollo for the gift of the lyre, as well as his healing waters that helped the town. And I'd like to do those separately, apart from everybody else. But then I'd like to gather the crew again and do sort of an offering to Poseidon before we are inevitably going to be cast upon his domain again on the next day.
Okay.
Yeah.
you follow this series of offerings, and Hephaestus is not known to be a super chatty god, but you get the sense that he is thankful for your token. And the crew are happy to offer up whatever's on hand to Poseidon. They've still got some fish, so they put that on the little makeshift altar that they had put together, and all help you in saying their prayers to Poseidon.
Feel like the last thing Poseidon wants is more fish, but yes, you do you, as they say in this part of the world.
Hey, dead things are dead things. They make great offerings. Memnon, what are you doing with your evening? You're drunk. Everybody's a little bit tipsy going back to the ship, unless you just didn't partake at all.
No, I super got lifted.
Figured.
I find an out of the way place on the boat. I realize presumably this isn't a huge vessel, but just sort of a bare plank, and I sort of carve a symbol of Apollo in it and carve a symbol of Eris, just sort of keeping track of the gods in the order in which we've encountered them.
Okay.
And when I go to sleep and I finally put my head down, if there's a way to put the pottery shard under my pillow when I sleep, I will. Otherwise, I'll just kind of go to sleep holding it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You are able to sort of just secure it in this little like bedroll thing that you're curled up on. Is there anything anyone else would like to do before they go to sleep?
No.
After a long day of defending a helpless village against a mythical creature and an angry goddess, all of you sort of lay in bed and reflect on the fact that even though you're war-hardened warriors, this was a challenge for you. And even though you all know that you're strong of will and capable in a battle, there are still new challenges to face, and there are still evils in the world that are worthy of you as heroes. And you get the sense that this might not be the last of those challenges that you face. In the morning, you all are preparing to leave the island of Namphos, but there's a sense of foreboding, and none of you sleep very well. Memnon, you have terrible nightmares. The snake throne and Eris are present in every single one. And she almost seems to be watching over you, whether you're awake or you're asleep. And that is where we're going to stop for the night.
Hey.
Oops.
Fine, it's fine. No, it's okay.
Fine.
No,
It's fine.
So maybe we should have gotten rid of B Dave, because it sounds like he's the one bringing the trouble, and we'd be fine.
Yeah, I think we would probably just have a safe sail home if we just.
Yeah.
What if we
Hey,
offered
hey.
him up as a sacrifice?
Hey, to my credit, you guys were shipwrecked before I came along. So
We probably bumped into him while he was floating along, and that's why we crashed into the
Right.
rocks.
Athena sent you guys to help me. Oh, now it all makes sense.
Well, see, the funny thing about it was if you guys were going to fight B-Dave on the beach when you first met him, Eris was just going to appear then and there and scare the shit out of all of you. But you were kind, so that didn't happen. You were kind.
I mean, we could go full Marvel team up, with the obligatory combat before it's like, oh wait,
Yeah.
no, we're actually friends.
We can.
yeah.
Let's retcon that. We'll just go back to the beach next time
That's
and
it.
start this all
That's
over.
it. We're like arrows in
Note
the
to
face.
self:
Yep,
attack
Mhm.
Memnon to speak to goddess.
true.
All right.
I mean,
Day.
Well, guys,
it's not wrong. Not
remember
wrong.
how I thought this wasn't going to go the full 2 hours? I was way wrong.
Mhm.
So,
Chatty.
before I kick it over to 20-sided TV for the difficult terrain premiere, which is super cool, with 2 DMs and 20 characters being played by 5 voice actors. It's a whole shebang. It's pretty interesting stuff. But before I do that, Mason, where can people find you through the week?
You can find me here on Twitch at WizardXTV, where we do D&D and all sorts of other fun stuff.
B. Dave, where can't people find you?
Yo, apparently in bed sleeping is the one place I can never be located. Yeah, no, I'm everywhere, 7 days a week. Documentary thing going right now. Please check out my Twitter at bdavewalters. You'll see that. Tuesdays is Silver and Steel. Thursdays is a Dark and Wish. Friday is going to yeah, we got stuff going on all the time. Yeah. Then Founders and Legends is this next weekend. Just all sorts of stuff. So
follow you on Twitter. Check out the cool new projects you're working on. Founders and Legends next weekend.
Yeah. Even I don't know where I'm going to be next. Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. I'm always somewhere. Yeah.
Tanya, where are you going to be this next week?
This week I'll mostly be on my own Twitch channel.
Hey, that's
Thursday,
a change.
For once. The rest of the time I'm tied to my computer and Zoom meetings. Zoom is hell.
Yay.
But Thursday, actually Wednesday, I will be doing a special stream of Death Stranding on PC. Thank you, NVIDIA. # sponsored. And Thursday, I'm actually going to teach Gary Whitta, my friend Brian, and, oh my God, what is his real name? Adam Nickerson, how to play D&D, but in Animal Crossing.
Oh,
so,
very meta.
Yes.
That'll be fun.
My basement is now a D&D room in Animal Crossing. And yeah, so it's 3 p.m. Central, 4 Eastern, 2 Mountain, 1 Pacific. Over, Gary and I are both going to stream on our own channels. And I did tweet out that before we started this game. So if you follow me on Twitter, my name is the same everywhere, Cypher Tier. And also, if you like the Book of Eli, go for it. Follow Gary Whitta, because he streams a lot and does a show you may have heard of called Animal Talking. And that's what I'm going to do. And then Rivals is back on Sundays. We're here on Sunday evening. And then in 10 days, we are back with Dragon Age over on Wandering DM's channel.
Okay. Cool. Can't wait for that one. And Justice.
Yeah, I'm here Saturday mornings at 11:30 Eastern doing one-on-one shots, and here Sunday evenings, and then Tuesdays we do Treasure Tuesday over on like Seven Spoons channel. And coming back this week is our werewolf game over on Q Times with a couple of the same faces that you see right here. And more exciting stuff coming from Bard and Barbarian within the next couple weeks. We are going to be launching our store with a lot of cool products, and if you want to get a preview of any of those things, join us on our Discord. We're pretty excited about it.
Cosmic Overthinker is our winner for the Bard and Barbarian t-shirt, so go ahead and shoot me a whisper over here on Twitch, and we'll go ahead and get that taken care of for you. All lovingly hand screen printed by Justice and myself, so just saying. They'll be worth something someday. So this coming week, Justice is absolutely right. We've got our Saturday morning cartoons. However, I'm also going to be launching a talk show with Devin Rue here sometime in the next couple weeks, and I'm really excited about that because she's spectacular and amazing and a funny human, and I love her. But I'm going to go ahead and kick off that raid because I promised that I would. So you guys are going to want to hang out and take a peek at difficult terrain, and we will see you all on the other side. You guys are great. Thank you for showing up. Thank you, Zero Opti, for all the subs. Daniel, all the subs, all that stuff. We love you guys. You're fantastic, and you do everything for us. And have a good night. Bye-bye. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.